Greetings everyone, I'm Mar. Once again, this is my opinion. As you can tell from the title up there, I am continuing my trek through these episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond. Still at the end of Season 5, and this is Episode 19, The Canister. Let's see, I actually got notes for most of the rest of the season up, so let's see how many episodes we got after this one. So, we got 6 episodes after this, so 6 more weeks, we're in Season 6. How ironic. Now, The Canister. This is an episode written by David Regal, who is an outside writer, and per the commentary by Ray, Phil, and a guest by the name of Patricia Heaton. That's actually a rule per the Writers Guild that every year they have to allow 2 episodes to be written by outside writers. Of course, he's not a fully outside writer. He's written another episode. Who am I? Now, before I get too far into this, just a reminder, if you want to support the channel, both the Patreon and PayPal links are down below. If you want to do one-off support or a request, go the PayPal route. But if you want to continuously support the channel and get access to Patreon perks like access to videos early or requests, you can always go to Patreon route. Either way, your support is appreciated. Now, the commentary with Patricia Heaton is very insightful. I mean, there's a couple slow bits. You can definitely tell that Heaton's not used to doing commentaries like this or doesn't want to. But she does tell the story of how she got hired on, how she was, doing the coupons to get Oscar Mayer. Her agent told her about the audition. She decided to go. It looks like they weren't going to have her read, but the main reason they had her go is because the audition is calling for a Patricia Heaton type. It's like, why ask for a Patricia Heaton type when you can ask for Patricia Heaton herself? Well, when she finally did get up to read, she nailed it. She talked about how she made her babysitter stay over, which is like, I get it that you needed the babysitter to stay longer because you needed to go in order to get the audition done, but I don't really like using the phrase, but it's like, that's such a Karen move to have her do that. It's like, just because you say you're paying her? Really? But oh well, what's done is done. I'm sure that babysitter has gotten over it now, but it's just one of those parts of the story I'm hearing, and I'm like, that's not a good part of the story. That's a mean part of the story. It's like, and he's like, you made her skip her college class? Like, really? It's not an emergency, but what it is, what it is. And of course, Patricia was nitpicking a little bit on how she looks in this episode, mainly how her cheeks are, which I kind of get that. And Heaton was talking about this is the episode she won her 2nd Emmy for, and with how you see her go throughout the episode, you could see why. And from the commentary, you get this little note about what the basic premise of this is. This is like an old mob movie, in the fact that the canister takes the place of the body, and like in some of those movies, the body keeps coming up, the canister keeps coming up. So there's certain beats in this episode that are like that. Now, the basic plot of the episode is that it's almost Easter. Everyone's getting ready. I mean, we see Ray dyeing eggs. Later throughout the episode, we hear mention of Marie's Easter ham. And we hear stuff about candy and all the other Easter-related stuff. Well, Marie goes over to Ray and Debra's house, asking for the canister that she let them borrow ages ago. It's a canister that was left to her by her mother, so it has a lot of sentimental value to her. And Debra's like, oh, we gave it back. And Marie's like her usual condescending stuff, like, oh, you gave it back? Well, dear, you see, I'm sure you didn't, or you sure you thought you did, because there's a spot at my house where I keep it, which is blank now. And she keeps being her condescending self with it, and eventually it pushes Debra to the breaking point, and she snaps at her. Marie, we don't have it. I don't know what to tell you, but we don't have it. And you're trying to insinuate I'm a thief, but we don't have it. And Marie does something that's really out of character for her, and the fact that we've never seen her do this, but it's in character for the fact that she has to really, really be pushed to the point where she's wrong in order to do this, and that's she apologizes. And even everybody's surprised, as Robert puts it, the Marie Barone apology. I've only heard about it. And here's the kicker, because it looks like, oh, well, Marie learns that she's not always right. And then out from left field comes Allie with the canister. Is this what Grandma was looking for? just the way the comedic beat. And the way that Debra responds. Patricia Heaton sells this beautifully. This is part of the reason I feel she won the Emmy this year for this episode. She's like, oh, God. And they're like, what are we going to do with it? Well, they decide they're going to get rid of it. Now, Robert, of course, is uncomfortable with this for two reasons. One, he used to belong to his grandma, and two, he's a cop, so that's destruction and disposal of private property, depending on what Debra plans on doing with it. Well, they eventually turn their back, and Debra disposes of it in the trash. Easter morning comes, and they're getting ready to go, and then all of a sudden the canister is kicked down their stairs, and there's the body popping back up again. As apparently the kids got into the trash looking for Easter eggs, and they pulled the canister out and decided to play kick the can with it. Well, it's come back, so they can't just fully get rid of it, so it's like, you know what, we're going over there, let's sneak it in. And of course they sneak it in a parka, and of course Marie is suspicious at that, which leads to one of Ray's best lines in the episode. Oh no, nothing's wrong, Mom, I just think this is a bitchin' jacket. And you can tell Marie's like this. I don't like that, Raymond. And Debra has to fall on her sword a little bit to get Marie to break away. They're still trying to sneak it in. Robert comes in. He's like, oh, my brother. They try the whole between. They keep Marie from seeing it. And this is the part of the episode that really does sell it. As they're trying to get rid of it. And then who comes in? But Frank. And he's all laughing about it. It's like, oh, yeah. Marie's been harping about that canister for a while. You're going to be dead because your ass is Marie's. Well, anyway, he takes a canister, and Marie comes in and like, Frank, I've been looking for that. And Frank decides he's going to take the heat for her. I've been hiding it from you. I thought it was a laugh. And he's saying it's all funny, which gets Marie to unload on him. You know what's not funny? This marriage. She takes a canister, saying he's ruined Easter, and walks in. Now, Frank, this is a little touching moment with Frank, because you wouldn't expect Frank to do something like this, especially with Debra. But he decides he's going to for two reasons. One, he couldn't imagine Debra getting yelled at like that. She's like a daughter to him, which makes sense with how long she's been in the family. And I didn't want her to do that. And then the added bonus, well, she was going to yell at me like that anyway later. I ate the backside of the ham. Not even 2 seconds later, Frank! And he's like, alright. So you can tell Frank's been doing that. That's one of the gags of the episode, is that Frank constantly is getting the ham. Every year, without fail. They caught him in the car with it last year. He just keeps getting into it. Which it's like, really, Frank? Why are you getting into the Easter ham like that? Wait for her to cook it. It's probably one of those already pre-cooked hams. But then again, that kind of seems like it'd go against Marie. Like, no self-respected person would eat a pre-cooked ham. That's not good. That's not ham. Well, then again, we never see it in this episode, so we don't know if it's an actual ham or if it's pork meat that's been reconstituted into a ham-like shape. Those are those hams that come in the can. Now, from how I'm going on about this, you can tell this is definitely an episode I recommend you watch. It's an excellent episode. Patricia Heaton's performance really does sell it, but the supporting characters, Ray does a good job, Brett Garrett does a good job for what little he's in it. Of course, Doris Roberts as Marie, she really does sell it. You really do feel for her. And when she does catch Frank with the canister, you feel her anger. Peter Ball is good for the little bit he's in there. You really do believe that Frank does feel the way he's feeling when he's talking, especially how he's like, oh, I couldn't let her do that. You're like a daughter to me. One of the few sensitive moments we get out of Frank throughout the series. And it's one of those things to where they're few and far between, but when they do pop up, you definitely feel that they're genuine. There's going to be a couple more throughout the series that as we go along, we're really feeling. Now, there are 2 deleted scenes for this episode, and watching them back before this, I could see why they were deleted. One, Ray is dyeing his Easter eggs, and he's doing it carefully and all the different lines. They called me insane at the university. And the other one is Debra comes in and begins to work the Easter potatoes, and that's the end of that scene. And the second scene is after the kids have kicked the body down the stairs, but before they're going across the street. Ray and Debra talk to the kids about the canisters, like, we love Grandma. She's very old. We all love her, but I think it'd probably be better if we didn't tell her about the canister. And the kids agreed to not mention the canister. And let's agree not to mention the canister. Which, of course, it feels like a scene that definitely should have been in the episode, but it just feels like that would have killed the pacing a little bit with how the scene goes. It's funny for the audience, but I can see why it was cut out, just like with the other one. And then, of course, the ending of the episode where Marie comes across the street to give the canister to Debra, which you can already tell that's not going to go well. It's like, we just got rid of this thing and Marie's decided to bring it back in here. Oh, great. Now we're going to have this constant living reminder. And a nice bit of visual continuity. There's going to be moments throughout the series where you can actually see the canister in the background. So I'm going to keep an eye out for the next couple episodes to see if I can spot the canister in the background. Nice little bit of continuity. Phil mentioned he actually still owns that canister somewhere, so there's that. And of course that ending scene is cut out for syndication, so I do like that they mentioned that in the commentaries, that this is cut out for syndication. I'm trying to remember if I saw this episode in syndication. I think I did, because this seems like an episode they would play in syndication along with its follow-up in the episode after that, I believe. There's not really much else to say about this. David Regal, he does a pretty good job capturing the characters. Not bad for an outside writer. Then again, he probably also was given some notes and some insight into some of these characters, and he probably watched the show, so he has an idea of what to write about these characters. Even if this is more a Debra Marie-centric episode. Especially nice for an Easter one. Heaton definitely deserved that Emmy win. Like I said, the rest of the cast does a good job around her, and it's all in all a fun episode. This is definitely a must-watch for Season 5, and when I get to the Season 5 VHS list, this is definitely going to be on it. The next episode probably, but it's going to depend on how I feel after this next watch, and that's going to be an episode where we're going to get some debate about who should have the say in the money matters, and that's going to, of course, be net worth. Till next time, guys. Enjoy your pork Pop-Tarts.